Daeyoung runs to meet up with Dajang at the JBC building, prepared to tell her who he really is. His heart pounds with every step, filled with both nervousness and hope. But when he arrives, he suddenly stops as he sees Jihoon's interview playing on the big screen outside the building. In the video, Jihoon calmly describes his perfect woman, speaking with sincerity. Daeyoung watches silently, his expression tense. Dajang sees the same interview and scoffs at Jihoon's words, saying that no such woman exists. Her voice carries quiet disbelief, a mix of sarcasm and doubt. At that moment, Jihoon appears beside her. Without hesitation, he looks at her and says clearly, "It's you." Dajang laughs, thinking Jihoon is just teasing her, but to Daeyoung, it looks like they're flirting, so he quietly turns and walks away. He doesn't see what happens next. Dajang gently turns down Jihoon's invitation to dinner, explaining that she's waiting for someone. She thinks her husband, Daeyoung, is coming, not knowing that the person she's actually waiting for is Wooyoung, the boy who is really him. He's still walking aimlessly when Dajang calls to ask where he is, and he replies, sounding dejected, that something came up, and what he wanted to talk about isn't important anymore. Disappointed, Dajang lies and says she forgot he was on his way, and that she was calling to say she couldn't make it either. She hangs up first, leaving both of them hurt, frustrated, and struggling to hold back tears. Back at the school festival, something has gone terribly wrong, the booths are wrecked, and the police have been called to the scene. Teacher Off and another teacher begin interviewing students, trying to piece together what happened. Slowly, the events of the night start to come together. After the guest singer finishes her song, the MC takes the mic and announces that someone wants to confess his feelings to a very special girl, Hongxia. A voice begins to sing, and it's Jasag, his voice soft and full of emotion. He sings a love song, pouring his heart into every word, confessing his feelings to Xia in front of the whole school. When he finishes, he steps forward and offers her a bouquet of flowers, his eyes filled with hope. The crowd bursts into chants of, "Accept him! Accept him!" Everyone joins in, except Jiho, who just watches silently, his face full of disbelief. After a long, tense pause, Xia finally reaches out and takes the bouquet. The students cheer loudly, and Jasag gives her the sweetest, shy smile. But something about Xia's face seems off, like there's something she's not saying. A little later, Shivu overhears two boys talking about Xia, making cruel comments and calling her easy for accepting Jasag's confession so quickly. Rage flashes through Shivu, and he shouts furiously at them. Startled, one of the boys knocks over a canister of juice sitting on a table. It spills onto a power strip, and suddenly, light bulbs start exploding. The students scream and run in panic as the chaos unfolds. In the stampede, the switchboard that controls the fireworks gets triggered and starts the show too early. At the same time, a clueless student in the sound room plays the music on cue, making the whole situation even more chaotic and bizarre. In the middle of the mess, Xia's friend SM is nearly knocked over by another student, but just in time, Shivu steps in and catches her, leaving her completely swooned. Luckily, when the teachers bring Daeyoung in for questioning, he can honestly say he wasn't there when everything happened. But that's not what's bothering him. He's far more upset about Jasag's confession to Xia and whether she accepted him or not. What makes it worse is that Daeyoung was the one who gave Jasag the idea in the first place, telling him that Xia's dream was to be serenaded in front of a crowd, even though he knew she actually hates that kind of attention. At basketball practice the next day, he finally finds out that Xia did accept Jasag's confession. The other boys tease Jasag, joking about how far he'll go with Xia on their first date. Jasag awkwardly tells them to stop, but Dayang, hearing it all, snaps and goes into full-on angry dad mode, cursing under his breath. At work, the team gathers for a meeting about Dajang's upcoming divorce show, which is set to air live. Dajang remains calm and confident, but the production director is completely overwhelmed. It's his first show, and he's visibly anxious. Wonki pulls Vyumi aside to tell her about a show that's interested in casting her, but she's already booked for another baseball interview. So he turns to Dajang and asks if she's free. When Dajang says yes, Vyumi quickly jumps in, cheerfully suggesting that Dajang take over the basketball interview so Vyumi can do the new show instead. While riding the bus, Xia gets the strange feeling that someone is watching her, but when she looks around, she doesn't see anyone. That someone is Dayang, secretly following her. He assumes she's heading out on a date with Jasag, and as soon as he realizes the destination is a baseball stadium, his imagination runs wild. He pictures them on the Jumbotron, sharing a kiss in front of the whole crowd, and decides he has to stop it from happening. He goes into the stadium and casually sits down next to Xia, pretending it's the most natural thing in the world. But to his surprise, she's not there with Jasag, she's there with Jiho, and they're just hanging out as friends. Jiho, it turns out, saw something the others didn't. After the festival, Xia returned Jasag's flowers, gently telling him she only accepted them in front of everyone because she didn't want to embarrass him. Jasag had looked completely heartbroken. The next day, Jiho had invited Xia to the baseball game, hoping her love for Jiho Oppa, the star player, would make her say yes. Dayang watches them from beside her, clearly disappointed to see Xia with Jiho, still wondering where Jasag is. Meanwhile, Jasag is in the karaoke machine room, sitting in the same spot where he once saw Xia crying about her parents' divorce. Back in the stands, Xia suddenly spots Dajang, who's preparing to interview Jiho, and right next to her, Dayang freezes in shock, sitting like a deer caught in headlights. Despite teacher Oh's clear rejection, saying she doesn't like anime fans, Dukjin still shows up in full costume and makeup, dressed as Johnny Depp's version of the Mad Hatter. He attends an anime-themed cosplay party, standing out with his bright outfit and painted face. A woman dressed as Mantis notices him and says kindly that his smile looks sad. Dukjin admits it's because of love, and she cheerfully replies that ugly people's love is the most sincere. A moment later, a different woman dressed as an Hathawe's White Queen taps him on the shoulder and asks for a photo with him. Smiling, Dukjin says they must be the only ones at the party from Wonderland. Then she hears his voice and freezes, he sounds familiar. At the same time, he realizes something too and finally recognizes her as Teacher Oh. Shocked and horrified, she lets out a squeaky, "You didn't see me," and takes off running. But Dukjin calls her name loudly, and she stops, stiff with embarrassment. The crowd parts around them as he gently tells her not to be ashamed, but to have confidence, because she's worth it. He walks up to her and gives her a heartfelt back hug, only to look up and realize the real Teacher Oh is watching from across the room. He is with the wrong White Queen. Meanwhile, Dayang, Jiho, and Xia are standing on the field as Dajang interviews Jiho after yet another winning game. Xia is over the moon, thrilled to take a selfie with her favorite player, which instantly makes both Jiho and Dayang jealous, but for very different reasons. Jiho, smiling, asks if they want selfies too, but both Jiho and Daeyoung snap, no, at the same time. Still smiling, Jiho invites everyone to dinner, his treat. Again, Jiho and Daeyoung refuse together, grumbling in perfect sync. But Xia bats her lashes at Dajeng, and she gives in with a sigh and agrees. Daeyoung mutters to himself, why are all the women in my family in love with Ye Jihoon? Later at dinner, Jiho tags along and quickly swipes the seat next to Xia before Jiho can take it. Dajeng offers up her seat on Xia's other side, but Daeyoung moves faster and steals it before anyone else can. Jiho laughs and says Xia seems to have more fans than he does. Jiho is happy to be sitting next to Dajeng, but his smile fades slightly when she casually mentions that she's only filling in for Varyumi this one time. Curious, he asks what show Varyumi is filming, but Dajeng doesn't know, only that it's something that's getting a lot of attention. Meanwhile, Varyumi is in one of those weather simulation rooms, being blasted by a massive typhoon and getting a much-needed dose of humility. At Jihoon's gentle urging, Dajeng shares that her new show premieres on Monday, though it's just a pilot episode. Jiho confidently says he's sure it'll become a regular program with her leading it. Daeyoung watches this exchange with disbelief, clearly annoyed by Jihoon's obvious flirting. When the food arrives, Daeyoung takes charge of plating the dishes and serves Xia first, then Dajeng. Jiho notices that Daeyoung didn't serve Dajeng any clams and points it out, telling him to give her some. But Dajeng calmly replies that she doesn't care for clams. Without missing a beat, and clearly being petty, Daeyoung puts the clams on his own plate, even though Jiho is holding out his hand for them. Out of nowhere, Xia turns to Jiho Oppa and asks if he has a crush on anyone. She says that in his interview, his description of his ideal type was so detailed that it sounded like he had someone specific in mind. Jiho admits there is someone he likes, but he hasn't told her yet. Daeyoung catches a slight flicker in Jihoon's gaze as it shifts toward Dajeng, and he definitely doesn't miss the meaning behind it. He follows Jiho outside when Jiho takes a phone call. Quietly, he asks Jiho if he treats all women the way he treats Dajeng, taking an interest in her life, cheering her on, and paying attention to her. Jiho notices that Daeyoung looks angry, but he answers coolly that it depends on how he answers the question. Then, with a condescending tone, Jiho says Daeyoung is just having youthful fantasies about an older woman, and that the pain from her inevitable rejection will help him grow up. When Jiho steps back inside, he sees Dajeng trying to pay the bill since her daughter and friends ate most of the food. The hostess tells her the bill has already been paid by Daeyoung. Daeyoung admits that he used his father's credit card to pay for it. Later at the party, Dukjin asks teacher or when she got into fandoms. She admits it started as a way to relieve stress. She's desperate to keep her secret because she's scared people will think badly of her as a teacher. But Dukjin tells her there's nothing wrong with a teacher who likes cosplay. He says he thinks 3 impossible thoughts every day, that Iron Man will become the model for a game made by his company, that a 37-year-old man can become a teenager again, and that teacher Or will finally realize how he feels about her. Teacher Or looks touched but says that Dukjin's words won't change the fact that she feels abnormal. He smiles cheekily and replies that all cool people are abnormal. That finally makes her smile a little. After leaving the restaurant, Daeyoung brings his father a big plate of mandu, remembering how much his dad loves them. His father asks, worried if Dayang is having any problems at school like bullying. Then he laughs at himself, remembering that Dayang is now a grown man. Looking older and more mature, Dayang says that all parents see their children as kids, no matter how old they get. His dad recalls how hard he was on Dayang when he was younger. Dayang admits that he has become even tougher as a father himself. He says he used to tell himself it was for the children's good, but now that he is friends with his kids, he understands that it was really for his own comfort. His dad doesn't say anything back, but his face looks deeply sad, as if Dayang's words hit a sensitive spot. Finally, the day arrives for Dajang's new show to premiere. The twins sit with Dajang's mother to watch, while Dayang and Jihu watch alone at their homes. Even Wonki is at the TV station with the other three interns, curious to see how Dajang will do with a live show about divorce. Wahyumi complains that something might go wrong, but Wonki disagrees, saying he doesn't think so. The show's idea is that a troubled couple talks about their marriage problems behind a privacy screen. Different experts give their opinions, and then the audience votes on whether the couple should get a divorce or not. On the show, the wife complains that her sisters-in-law make her life very hard, and that no matter what she does, it's never right. Her husband tells her to ignore them, but she says she can't because she sees them all the time. Dajang listens and sympathizes with her. Director Moon comes by to see what has Wonki and the interns so focused, but he refuses to watch with them, saying the show is boring. Then, he notices the moment when the audience votes suddenly change from against divorce to supporting it, in favor of the wife. Suddenly, Director Moon can't look away. A therapist on the expert panel advises against divorce but blames the wife for all the problems. He says she knew about the husband's family situation before marrying him, so she should accept it. He admits he also has 3 sisters, so if she divorces, he'll be in trouble too. The wife snaps at her husband for not speaking up, but he says he didn't want to come on the show. She then starts yelling that everything is her fault. The therapist agrees, saying it's all her fault, and the wife suddenly storms off the show. She rips through the privacy screen, revealing who she is. Her husband follows closely behind, leaving Dajang standing alone on live TV. Everyone watching is shocked and panicking, but Dajang stays calm. She looks straight into the camera and apologizes to the viewers. She explains that marriage is when two families become one, but often women sacrifice themselves in the process. She points out that the problems come from different expectations men and women have. Dajang says if daughters-in-law were respected as much as sons-in-law, these conflicts would not happen. She breaks for a commercial, and everyone sighs with relief at how well she handled the situation. Even Director Moon admits that Dajang is really good at this. Wahyumi casually says she would have done the same thing Dajang did, but everyone looks at her in disbelief. Dajang introduces the next couple, whose problem is that both work full-time, but the husband doesn't help around the house. The wife ends up doing all the housework and caring for their child. The husband says he's very tired after work but claims he still does chores and helps with the child. His wife calls him a liar, saying all he does is come home and lie down right away, leaving her to do everything else. The husband insists he helps, but his wife shouts that he shouldn't just be helping, he should be an equal partner. She adds that because of his laziness, she recently had surgery to remove a non-cancerous tumor in her uterus. The doctor said the tumor was caused by stress. The husband looks genuinely sorry but says he didn't know. He protests that she never talks to him about these things. She replies that she can't talk to him because he is always in a bad mood after work. Dajang asks the audience to vote, but the results come out exactly 50-50. Back in the control room, the team doesn't know how to handle a tie. One of the expert guests suggests that Dajang should break the tie. Everyone watching holds their breath, waiting for Dajang's decision. After thinking for a moment, Dajang says she is against divorce. She explains that, in her opinion, neither the husband nor the wife is being honest with each other. She says this is very common. People don't share their problems with their partner because they don't want to worry them. But then, when their partner says something accidentally hurtful, they feel disappointed. She continues that everyone wants to be understood, but because they aren't honest, eventually there is only silence and bitterness between them. As Dajang speaks, she thinks about how Dayang never told her that he turned down an offer to train with a basketball team to earn money for Shivu's asthma treatment and instead started drinking. Watching Dajang on the screen, Dayang realizes that she is talking about their own relationship, which fell apart in exactly the way she describes. Dajang says it's easy to misunderstand each other. She warns that if you get divorced for that reason, you will end up regretting it. One of the experts on the panel points out sharply that Dajang herself is divorced. In the control room, even Director Moon jumps up to defend her. Put on the spot, Dajang honestly admits that she regrets getting divorced. She explains that if she and her ex-husband had just talked to each other, and if she had known how much he was struggling, I would have thanked him and been able to comfort him. The expert scoffs at the idea that everyone would stay married if they just talked. Dajang clarifies that talking is not the perfect solution, but it helps people feel less regret before making a final decision. She says it's a chance to finally hear what you want to hear. Watching from home, Dayang lowers his head, knowing that what she says is true. The audience votes again, and this time, everyone is against divorce for the couple who are now crying behind the privacy screen. Damn, Dajang's show is going to be a huge hit. At home, the twins smile proudly, thinking their mom is so cool. Their grandmother looks just as proud of her daughter but also sad for her. Jihoon has been watching the show closely, and he wonders if Dajang was waiting for her ex-husband on the night she turned down his dinner invitation. At the station, Director Moon notices Wonki wiping tears from his eyes. Kitai checks online and sees that Dajang is already going viral. Director Moon says with admiration that she's a sure bet for success, but his words only make Vyumi feel even more unsure about her own chances. Later, Dajang and the show's team go out for a celebration dinner. The rude expert tells Dajang he only said harsh things to be entertaining, then offers her a plate of clams as an apology. She loses her appetite, remembering how Dajang always carefully removed clams from her food because she doesn't like them. Dajang ends up drinking a lot on an empty stomach. After the dinner, she walks home alone, thinking about all the times Dayang was thoughtful and loving to her. As she stumbles from the bus stop, she doesn't notice Dayang following her worriedly from across the street. He follows her into their building and meets her on the stairwell. Gently, he lifts her face to check if she's all right. She looks at him with a mixture of pain and longing, her eyes searching his. Softly, she asks, Hong Dayang, what took you so long? I've been waiting for you. Dayang feels both scared and hopeful. Slowly, He leans in toward her. She doesn't pull away. Their lips meet in a tender kiss, full of all the feelings they've been holding back.